Hello, geometry students. Okay, continuing with our series on constructions. And I'll start by saying if you haven't looked at how to construct two lines that are perpendicular, or a perpendicular line from an external point, or an altitude to a triangle, all of those videos are listed in the comments. Go ahead and pause and do those. All right, assuming that we're all on the same page now, today we're going to take a look at how to duplicate a segment, duplicate an angle, and then once we know how to do that, how to double or triple a segment and double and triple an angle, all through constructions. And constructions means that we're making these things using only a compass and a straight edge, as opposed to a ruler or a sketch or any of those sorts of approximations. So this is an exact construction. All right, so I'm going to share a screen here. So here we're using our compass, and as you can see, this particular compass actually has measurements on it. So I could measure my segment and then measure an equal segment, but that wouldn't be exact. So I'm actually going to turn my compass upside down so I'm not tempted to use the measurements. All right, so I am going to make a segment of an arbitrary length, and then I'm going to give myself another line, and I want to cut off on this line a segment of that same length. So what I'm going to do this is based on the idea that all the radii of a given circle have to be the same length. So I'm going to take the endpoint of my segment and call that the center of my circle. And then I'm going to find the other endpoint in my compass. And so that right there would be how I measure that length. All right, and then I'm going to note where I am in my compass. I'm right there. Okay, so now I'm going to come onto this line, and I'm going to center my compass on this line, and then using this same radius length, I'm going to go ahead and make a marking on this line. And then I'm going to go to here, and using this same radius length, I'm going to make a marking on here. And so now from here to here is my same length segment as the one I did here, because it's a circle of the same radius. Okay, and so that's how I duplicate a segment. Now, let's say I want to double the segment. All right, well, same concept. I'm going to go here. I'm going to find my place here. And now I'm going to keep this same length, and I'm going to make this end point the new center. And I'm going to, again, mark out an arc. And now I'm going to use my straight edge to go ahead and extend my line. And where my line intersects that arc, I have cut out another segment that's of the same length as the segment I started. And so now I have doubled. And if I want to triple, I'll do the same thing. I'll find that radius length again here. I'll extend and make this the new center of my circle. I'll cut off this arc. I'll extend my straight edge. And boom. Got it? All right. Now, while we're here, let's talk about how we duplicate an angle and then how we double an angle. So I'm going to start by making any old angle. I'm going to give myself a vertex and two sort of endpoints. All right, I'm going to start by centering the vertex of my arc here, and then grabbing any old radius of circle, this one doesn't matter, and just creating it. Okay, and so there's my radius of circle right there. And so now I'm going to create the first ray of my arc. And from this center, I'm going to go and grab that same length of radius. If I've forgotten it, I'm going to go ahead and measure it again so I can see it's right there. And I'm going to center my compass over here on this new line, and I'm going to create that. All right, now I'm going back to my original picture, and now I'm going to use this as my center. And I'm going to come up here and I am going to find where this guy exists. So he's right there in my compass. And I'm going to create a little cross right there. And now I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to center here, and I kept my pencil in the same place in my compass. And so this is the same as this. And so now I just need to connect these 2 points. And I have duplicated my angle. The measure of this angle is exactly the same as the measure of that angle because I created it out of circles with the same radii. Got it? So now if I go to this guy and I would like to duplicate it, all right, so I go here, and again, I kind of pick out what was the radius with that as the end point. And now I go, and this is my new center. And so, whoops, I need more lead. I'm going to go find that again. Okay, so there's my radius. And now I move it up to here's my new, and I'm creating that kind of arc, same radius. Now I need to extend this a little bit. So I'll go back to here and continue that circle a little bit. And where these guys intersect, I have duplicated my angle right next to the original one, thus doubling it. And so this angle will be twice as big as this angle because I constructed a duplicate of it right next to it. Okay, so duplicating a line segment, which then allows us to double or triple the line segment. Duplicating an angle measure, which then allows us to double or triple the angle measure. And that's your next lesson in construction. So practice it, watch the video again, and then stay tuned because coming up next is how to use all these different skills that we've learned so far to do things like construct an equilateral triangle or a rectangle or a perpendicular bisector. So stay tuned.